welcome to the craziest video you're ever gonna see in your entire life. Okay, so you've been noticing that video games aren't fun anymore. You're asking yourself why, and you're looking for the answer from me. Well, it turns out I actually do have the answer, but you're not gonna like it. It kind of has a little bit to do with the fact that you're not actually supposed to be having fun. Don't freak out. Everything I'm saying will make a lot of sense once we understand lion cubs. Lion cubs play. For them, they play because it's fun. Actually, the fun is a motivator to get them to play because playing builds their skill. Eye-paw coordination, problem solving, conflict resolution, all these things translate into adult lion survival / hunting skills. Humans are the same. When I played video games as a child, I was developing eye-hand coordination. I was activating my problem solving brain. And then watch, now jump.
That's awesome. This is just fun.
I was resolving conflicts with my family and friends after they threw a controller in my face. Adult lions still play every once in a while, but not like they used to when they were cubs, because it's a waste of time and energy. They don't really get a lot of practical use out of playing. They play to keep themselves sharp, but not to build themselves up. They are already the best lion they can be. Humans are the same. When I play video games now, I do it to stay sharp, but other than that, it's a waste of time. Don't fret. There is a solution. You won't like it, but it is going back to what you used to do when you were having fun and didn't realize that you were actually doing this. Because this is where humans and lions separate. An adult lion is done. They are what they are. An adult human is never done. Because we have this incredibly complicated mass above our eyeballs and just below our sagittal crest. It's called eyebrows. No, no, it's our brain. Yeah, our brain has the ability to never stop learning and to constantly be making improvements. There's a theory out there that what you need is a dopamine detox. Basically, it feels good to play video games, then you play too much and now you need to stop for a while to let your dopamine refill. This is an infinite loop where you get absolutely nowhere. Here's a diagram. I'm showing the loop here. Like you're playing and having fun, and then you realize that this is like pointless and a waste of time, and then it starts to stop being fun because you don't like wasting your time, and then you stop playing and forget that the reason why you weren't having fun is because you were actually wasting your time in this pointless endeavor. But then you forget that, so you start playing again. Look how you start playing again. But then you remember that this is stupid. You know, you just keep doing this. Purpose. You used to have a purpose behind why you were having fun, just like lion cubs, which was building skills, and now it doesn't matter how long you spend away from games or if you switch up the genre or anything else. If you are not building yourself up, then you will struggle to have fun. It doesn't matter if you're fully aware of it or not. Deep down you know when you're wasting your time. As a child, building skills happened naturally. As an adult, you have to seek it out. How do I do that? How do I build up skill? And what is all this craziness I'm seeing here in, this... Okay, I'll explain what all this is in detail later, but just so you understand, I build custom controllers and then I play games on them. Okay, how do you build skill? I can only tell you how I did it and how I came to realize that I wasn't having any fun and it was making me feel very empty inside. In the beginning, there was Anthopants, and just like all of you, I was having a fun time playing video games. The thing we don't remember is how frustrating it was. You see, I grew up in the NES, SNES, and Sega Genesis era, which means most of the games I grew up playing were Dark Souls difficult. It was rare that someone beat a game like Mario, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or Battletoads. You had to elevate your skills to an exceptional degree to beat almost any game. This is still true for an adult trying to play these games today. You will have to use your brain to figure out how to overcome the challenge. All of this will be a frustrating, failure-induced, soul-crushing experience until you begin to use your brain to solve the problem. Sometimes that means figuring out the puzzle or elevating your dexterity to pull off the big victory. This journey of failure, problem solving, only to find out that your solution didn't work, so you fail again. Then you realize that you need to work on your reflexes, but you still fail, so you start using creative problem solving skills you didn't even know you had. This is the cycle of building. When you finally figure it out, it's because you built the answer in your mind, creating a whole new way of thinking. This is why a kid will think so highly of a new game and why you don't get much out of it, because you are solving a puzzle that is being figured out by 7-year-olds. You're not building anything new, you're doing the work of second graders. You have to challenge yourself in order to create something new. If you can't lift a certain amount of weight, you have to challenge your muscles to grow so you can build yourself to lift the weight. It's the same thing with your brain. We find this system of building ourselves to be very fun and fulfilling, while for some reason completely forgetting how horrible it felt to get there. However, we find fun without building ourselves to be boring and unfulfilling. Let's quickly talk about the people who have the longest video game fulfillment and who most of what I'm saying doesn't apply to. The people who play for the story. A lot of good stories in video games, and you'll do just fine until you start seeing the same story over and over, but we haven't reached this point yet as far as I can tell. This is something that people who love movies complain about. There's only so many stories, and after you've seen 10,000 movies, you've seen it all. Another type is the community person who enjoys playing with their friends, online or offline, whatever it might be. If your main enjoyment is from the community, you probably will never get sick of gaming because you'll always find a community that you like. I can come up with these all day long, but for the sake of time, the last type is the I play to decompress. This person already has enough on their plate. Playing doesn't seem to negatively affect their life in any way, and they just need some downtime. These type of people probably couldn't care less about what I'm saying, and I totally get it. So why don't you get the heck out of here already? I'm just joking. No, stick around. Hang out. You'll still get something out of this. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. Okay. The skill gamers. Gamers like me. We have the toughest time not getting sick of gaming. We need the challenge and we need to build ourselves in a skilled fashion. What did I do? I sort of fell into it. I challenged myself to do the impossible things that hadn't been done before in my favorite retro games, and after years of playing on decrepit consoles, I had to learn how to maintain and fix these consoles. That led me to modifying, which then led me to building my own modifications. I've always loved video game controllers, so building my own is the path I took. While building, I set rules for myself. The big one is that I have to do something new, something I don't already know how to do. My first build was combining 2 controllers from rival consoles together. Then I worked with lights. Then I worked with touchpads so I could punch Mike Tyson in the face and bite his ear. Now I'm working with motion controls. If I always have to do something that I haven't done yet, then it forces me to go through the process of figuring out the solution to the problem. It's a journey, a hard one. I have to up my skills with electronics, programming, and creative problem solving. At the end of it, I am better, and I have the fondest memories of it. Probably because I forgot about how painful it all was. I don't know if it has to be painful in order for you to grow, but when I think about it, if it isn't painful, it's because it's too easy, and I don't know if you can grow without challenging yourself. Sorry, I told you wouldn't like it. I guess it has to be painful to be fun. You can learn a lot by challenging yourself. The biggest thing I learned was the importance of my own individuality. Yes, this is the part where I get a little woo-woo or hippy-dippy for those of you who don't know what woo-woo is. And for those of you who are too young to know what a hippie is, this is the part where we all leave our bodies and look down on ourselves with new eyes. You see, I'm ADHD. It was impossible for me to focus as a kid, and I still find it difficult if a lot is going on. Although this was a hindrance for me throughout school, it has been honed and sharpened by gaming. Even though it is called attention deficit, it is actually attention abundance. Unwieldy due to its intensity, but once trained, now I have a laser-like focus that could rival Superman. You see, it's this. This is the picture. There's a picture of me. Look at that. Look at that kid. Look at that kid. Champion. Intensity focused onto this. That's the game. Look at my intensity. I got champion. Champion. My weakness, a superpower in disguise. Another aspect of my individuality that I learned was how my brain worked. Once again, school wasn't easy for me. Besides my ADHD, I had severe memory issues. When everyone else was learning their ABCs, I was left behind, unable to remember all of them. In kindergarten, the entire class sat at one of 2 tables. When you learned the alphabet, you moved from one table to the other. Slowly, the table I was at began to thin, with most of the kids moving on. Slowly but surely, all the kids moved on to the next table except for me. I stayed at my own table for weeks. A hard lesson to learn in kindergarten, contemplating how much trouble I was going to be in when I became an adult and no one would hire the person who couldn't learn. Having a good memory is a wonderful thing, or so I've heard. But while your brain is developing a plan, then stopping and storing it into memory, my brain is not held back by such a worthless ability like storing info into a memory. I can come up with a plan and then it disappears into nothing so that I can instantly come up with a new plan. I have a superpower. Yes, I don't remember letters, numbers, names, dates as well as everyone else, but because of that, I can think faster. In a game where you need to come up with a strategy that will be void by the next frame, I can come up with a multi-layered strategy, frame by frame, strategy after strategy. Sometimes your weakness is a strength, and your strength can be a weakness. But Anthopants, I blew through kindergarten. It was easy. How does this apply to me? What are you, like some kind of a show-off or something? That's where the last big thing I learned comes in, because it applies to all of us. I call it the 3 brains. We think from 3 different brains: logic, emotion, and desire. Understanding your dominant brain type can be very helpful. I am emotion, then logic, then desire, which means I can think faster if I store information on an emotion than if I store it somewhere logically. I do things because it feels correct, sometimes even if it doesn't make any logical sense. It's also beneficial to understand the mixture of these 3 within any single thought. Emotion is how you feel, logic is how you think, and desire is what you want. Desire is more physical, like your desire to eat. Power just so happens to be a desire. That's why even people without emotions can still have a power trip. This thinking with 3 different parts of your brain is why everyone is an idiot. No one is subjective. People don't realize that there's super logical ideas mixed with emotion and desire, skewing it sideways. Good luck figuring it out. I used to, as best I could, know if I was coming from a place of accuracy or just a fleeting emotion, strategy or hunger, and I got pretty good at feeling the difference between this is a correct strategy that I'm running along an emotion, and this is just an emotion because I'm an emotional guy. I thought this was about video games not being fun anymore. It is. I thought you were going to tell us how to have fun again. I have been. Here's the thing. Some of you are actively trying to think of your own solution, a personalized way of solving the problem for yourself, and some of you have actively been trying to not learn. Let's find out which one you are. I have a hypothetical for you. There are next door neighbors. Both have one banana bush in their yard. They have agreed under certain conditions to split the bananas amongst them. Neighbor A's banana bush has produced 1 million bananas. Neighbor B's banana bush has produced 1 billion bananas. Neighbor B watered his banana bush every day, and since neighbor A never watered his banana bush, neighbor B doesn't want to split the bananas while neighbor A still thinks they should split the bananas. Who is correct? I'll give you a second to think about it. Holy crap, this is a... I'm gonna get through it. I don't care. Anybody says. This is the fun part. Some of you made your way through to think about the concept that was put down before you. What is the unknown agreement? It is one or more neighbors in breach of this contract, and if they are, should that even matter? What is the price of neighbor B's effort that neighbor A was lacking in? You have given me the benefit of a doubt by avoiding all the nonsense in here so as to think of the possibilities. Other people have struggled to avoid some of the traps, like how bananas don't grow on bushes, and how no banana bush could ever produce 1 million bananas, much less 1 billion. To these people who have struggled with this nonsense, I apologize. I knew some of you would, but I did it anyway because I'm a jerk, and I wanted to let you know that you have an issue, which you already know you have, because you're that type of person who has the issue that you know you have the issue. Sorry.
One of these guys wrong.
I hope that makes sense. Then there's the last type. You heard banana bush and instantly ignored everything else, or you heard 1 million bananas and you went nonsense, done. This is my silly way of showing you what you are. You are a possibilities person, you hear something and you can't help but think of all the things it could be, or you are a syntax person. You hear a sentence and can't help but tear it apart in all the ways in which it is not correct and it's impossible for you to get past those flaws. Or you are a defeatist. You are actively looking for an opportunity to give up. You want to fail, so any excuse will do, like bananas not growing on bushes, which is true, except you're wrong because I said this was a hypothetical, and in my hypothetical, everything I say is true. So in my hypothetical, bananas do in fact grow on bushes, and by the millions and billions, deal with it, quitter. What does all of this have to do with video games and having fun? Well, I'm having fun, so you figure it out. But seriously, it has to do with you. Will you look past what is being said and figure out how to continue to use video games to build yourself? Or will you get stuck because you're looking for unobtainable perfection? Or will you ignore everything because you found one little thing that's wrong? You either want it to succeed, you can't help yourself, or you want it to fail. Which one are you? Most likely you're a mix of all 3, but which will you allow to emerge? That's the real question. So, before I built controllers and before I speed ran, when did gaming stop building me? There is an actual point, and I think my age range is gonna be similar to most people's age range. I was 21 years old, and I was playing Morrowind. What does a game that requires a good sense of direction, adequate reading comprehension, and more stats than a college math class mean to a dyslexic? Sweet growth building improvements. Yes, Morrowind improved my sense of direction, my reading comprehension, and my understanding of why this is happening, and how to stop being an idiot and turn it into this. Back to what I was saying. It was all downhill after Morrowind. I had learned everything video games naturally had to teach me. I was no longer building reflexes or puzzle solving skills, my dexterity, sense of direction, memory for locations and conversations. I wasn't pushing myself to become better, and as a result the fun wasn't so fun anymore. I didn't consciously realize it, but playing became pointless, and life's no fun when you're spending your time on things that don't have a point. Have we talked about the bananas yet? Like I said, I built a controller with motion controls inside. Hooked it up to an original Nintendo 64, played some GoldenEye with it. Well, first I built this piece of trash, but anyway, beat GoldenEye, got all the cheats, ramped up the difficulty to Dark License to Kill mode, and beat some levels on that. I shot his hat. I was trying to like intimidate him, like look how good I am. I can shoot your hat off without actually hitting you, but he wasn't having it. And I learned something. I hadn't used a motion controller before, I've never owned a Wii or a Switch, and while playing on a normal controller, if things got difficult, I tapped into one of my greatest resources: intensity. And I found out that my weakness during school, when I was forced to sit still, intensity. That I turned into a strength while playing video games, intensity, had once again become a weakness. You see, a motion controller moves with motion, and when I increase my intensity, my adrenaline spikes, causing my hands to shake. I have been playing like this for 40 years. Difficulty equals spiking my adrenaline to cause my ADHD to laser focus, increasing reflexes, brain activity, and victory. No, not with a motion controller. I had to learn to stay calm. The paralyzing fear that came over me when I realized this is hard to explain. I have to stay calm. I have to be in control of my emotions. I don't think I can do it. I've been trained to not stay calm. I've been an exploding volcano my entire life, and now I have to learn to put a lid on it. Guess what? I did it. You want to beat a DLTK level on GoldenEye with a motion controller? You will need to be in control. You cannot have shaky hands. You cannot get angry. You must remain calm. That was the challenge, and I figured out a way to overcome it. I was as cool as James Bond. Only not as cool as this one, but this one. As cool as Dalton. What's George Lazenby doing up there? Have we talked about the bananas? You can do it too. Why haven't you? This will be the greatest gift that I give to humanity. I'm going to teach you the one thing that humans are best at. Are you ready? You're not gonna like it. Humans are really good at lying. This is the thing we are best at. More so, we are really good at lying to ourselves. Remember when we were talking about that thing between your eyes and the top of your head? My eyebrows? Not the eyebrows. The sagittal crest? You don't even know what a sagittal crest is. No, your brain. Your brain has one goal, and it's usually not the one you want it to have. Your brain wants to be comfortable. The opposite of comfort is pain. The only way to grow is to push yourself, which is painful. Do you see the conflict here? Your brain is going to use every trick in the book in order to keep you comfortable. Here's what will happen. You will set a goal for yourself, like I want to learn how to grow bananas, and your brain will go, we shouldn't do that. We don't know anything about bananas, other than they don't grow on bushes. It might take a really long time. You'll probably only get brown bananas, and no one wants to eat those. You will spend as much energy talking yourself out of doing something as you do talking yourself into it. The difference is afterwards. Your brain knows that if it talks you out of it, it doesn't have to go through any pain, and your brain hates pain. Some of you may have noticed that I keep not talking about video games, and there's a reason for that. Because video games not being fun anymore has nothing to do with video games. It has to do with you no longer challenging yourself, because you'd rather be comfortable than an elevated version of yourself. I told you you wouldn't like the answer. When we were kids, growth was simple. It was inevitable. We were growing both in body and mind. Everything was a new challenge for us to overcome. It was frustrating and painful at times, but we kept coming out of it smarter and stronger. As adults, it's much more difficult to find ways to grow. But unless we can find ways to grow, life will feel pretty bland, and video games are a part of that life. How will I continue to do it? Well, I am currently working on it. I'm already knees deep in the painful section of my next project. I'm trying to build a motion sensor steering wheel for my N64. I am of course attempting to figure out how to get something to work that I haven't done before with my other controllers, and it's been a real struggle to deal with my brain constantly wanting to quit, but that's part of it. Our brains are our worst enemy and our best ally all at the same time. We just have to figure out which one we're dealing with moment by moment. I keep going because I look forward to the next step, which is the almighty fun I have when I get the controller to work and the great frustration of learning how to beat a game with it. I've gone through this enough that I know what to expect, like the soul-crushing failure of defeat. If it's not soul-crushing, then I'm not challenging myself, and trust me, it feels really fun to overcome that challenge. That's how we used to do it when we were kids, we just don't realize it. Well, now you know everything you need to know about lion cubs and ADHD and bananas, the three brains that are lying to you, pain and motion controllers, and some other stuff that I don't remember. Doesn't matter to me, I already knew this stuff. Good luck with the fun, and stop thinking about bananas. I know you are. Okay, I'm officially done.